All right, ladies and gentlemen, what's going on? What's going on? And welcome back. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Welcome back. So, today we're going to take a look at a court case. It's very short. It's 16 minutes in length, but we're probably not going to, hopefully, not watch the whole entire thing. Basically, it's just a judge, which is Judge Boyd, as you see on the screen, and it's the defendant. I think her last name is Dierno. So I think she's a Latino woman. And they just kind of going over her plea deal and the particulars about that. But there was a question that the judge had, and I wanted to address that and explain because again, we've been hearing on TikTok a lot lately. There's been panels and with Latinos and blacks, and kind of going that back and forth thing because of this situation with the ICE and the riots going on, or the riot that went on in California and kind of spread into other cities. And there's always this constant finger pointing towards Black Americans once again. And it seems like there's some type of amnesia going on, or some selective amnesia, because you hear the Latinos saying things that about blacks, and there are some coming out a little bit and saying, yes, leave the black people alone. They went through enough. If they don't want to support, they have that right. They shouldn't have to. It's supposed to be our fight. I actually heard that listening in on a panel last night from a guy who claimed he was Cuban. He also said he was in the military at one point, so he claimed he understood about black folks, and he mentioned that black people have every right to not be a part of anything going on regarding this situation. But you always have some of those few Latinos who still want to say, oh, well, y'all black people do this, black people do that. But the one main thing they can never come up with is any form of receipts. They can't come up with a video link, an article, but they always gaslight and try to deflect and try to change the narrative and change the conversation, just like Africans and Caribbeans. And we have videos. The thing that we have is videos and articles we can pull up years and years and years worth. Then we can go into the books, the history books, and pull up all the disrespect that other people around the world have shown to Black Americans, and the fact that we can pull up information to show how Black Americans were standing up for other groups of people. But what the main thing seems to be going on now is that I think my audio had went out for a second. I said the main thing that seems to be a thing is everyone comes against Black people, but then when something's going on with them, they call for our help. Foundational Black Americans, they always asking for our help. There's videos out. I posted videos recently of other people putting out content showing the videos of Latinos, Latinas asking for Black people to come on and join us, Black and brown. But we all know there is no Black and brown going on. We all know this, right? We know this. But there continues to be this thing going on about Black and brown. You know what I'm saying? There always seems to be this Black and brown thing going on. It's not true. All right. So what we're going to do here is, this is kind of wild. Oh, there we go. I see what's going on. I see what's going on here. So, yeah. There is a thing going on regarding, y'all bear with me for a second. It always seems like when you do these recordings, let me see here. Yeah, okay. There we go. It always appears that every time we try to get these recordings done or lives done, it's always seem like some technical difficulty when you start talking about some real stuff and you pull out facts. I'm scrambling around trying to get certain things on the screen and they like jumping off and disappearing on me. This is crazy. And it seems like it always happens when you try to put out some real stuff. Now, if I was dancing with a pamper on and flipping and doing flips, there will be no interruptions. This video would not mess up. If I show some men that look like masculine men, but they twerking, there will be no problems with the video feed, or nothing wrong with the background features to work it. But when you talk about some real stuff, it always seems to happen. Not always, but a lot. Like somebody saying, "Uh-oh, we know who this is. That's one of them folks. They about to drop some real stuff, and we gotta kind of deflect and see if we can distract them enough to maybe they'll give up and not do a broadcast." It's crazy. All right. So yeah, we're gonna be back here in a second. And we're gonna break some stuff down. All right. We're just gonna keep it like that. We're gonna break some stuff down. Okay. So we will return right after these brief promotions. All right. We'll be right back.
Ready to level up your mindset, habits, and focus? This isn't just motivation, it's action. 100 self-improvement prompts crafted to help you think better, move smarter, and grow stronger in every area of your life. Whether you're journaling, using ChatGPT, or just need daily clarity, this guide delivers. Start your growth journey today. Grab the link from the description to copy and paste your way to progress.
Unlock the power of seamless filming with our gimbal's advanced AI tracking camera feature, ensuring your subjects are always perfectly in focus. Whether you're vlogging, live streaming, or engaging in FaceTime calls, our gimbal's AI tracking camera technology guarantees professional-grade footage every time. Take control of your shots with gesture control, allowing for effortless filming while maintaining stability and precision. Stay ready for action with rapid 80-minute charging, ensuring you never miss a moment of capturing your adventures. Compact and portable, weighing just 0.78 pounds and folding down to 5.98 inches, our gimbal is your go-to companion for on-the-go content creation. Elevate your filming experience with the LC7 Pro, the ultimate tool for achieving cinematic shots and capturing every moment with precision. Get yours now.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. So yeah, we're going to get into this, man. We're going to take a look at this video and then break a little bit of some things down. And we're going to keep it as a record because, again, like I said, a lot of different ethnicities or races, however you want to look at it, of people, groups, they always talking about, well, black people done this to us, black people done this, but we always seem to pull out the receipts. FBAs always seem to pull out the receipts. All right. There was again, there was a panel, the same panel. Matter of fact, man, I have the actual video. I just might have to show that another time because I want y'all to listen to that, the stuff that was being said. So that might be another episode because we're gonna look at this video today. But on there, you know, people were mentioning how, yeah, well, you black people do this and do that. But when it came to asking them for receipts, they can't pull up nothing. So it seemed like it's always a tongue in cheek with them. It don't matter who they are, what immigrant group there is. There's Africans, Caribbeans, Hispanic, Latinos, you name it. They always mouth out stuff, but they can never pull up anything that you can look up. An event that's memorable that they can say, well, remember such and such that happened, remember this. But we can always pull up things that have been documented. Like the firebombing, when you had all these Mexicans firebombing black people in California, moving them out the place. Then we can go back to the civil rights era, firebombing churches and stuff like that. And then we can go back further than that into slavery with all kinds of stuff. And then people always claim they had it this way or their group. And you hear a lot of Spanish people saying they have this history. But when you ask them, or this culture, and with Africans, you ask them about their culture to explain it, they can never explain what their culture is. Caribbeans as well. But we can break down when we're asked or we chime in on it. We can give you super details of what our culture is, how we built this, how we built that. And then everybody kind of quiets down or tries to deny whatever we say took place and gaslight and project. And this is all they do. But we could pull up receipts. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to pull up another receipt here. All right. You're going to pull up another receipt. Again, this is a court hearing. And to set the stage a little bit, this lady here you see on the screen, again, I think she's Latino or Latina, however you want to look at it. And she apparently got assaulted maybe some kid, and she got arrested for it. And so now they just kind of, the judge and this lady's lawyer and the other attorneys are kind of going through what she agreed to. And then the judge has a certain question. And then we're going to kind of talk about that. All right. So let's get into it, man. Let's get into it.
That always brightens the day. And then her son is graduating the academy. I'm like, oh. All right, could I have a file stamp for a plea, please?
Oh, sorry.
No problem.
Gotta get back into the.
The court is calling 2025 CR 001146 State versus Cynthia Diano. Could I have parties announced for the record?
Rick Banion for the state of Texas.
Jeffrey Martinez for defendant.
And are you Cynthia Diano?
Yes,
How do you pronounce your last name?
Deanna.
I got it right. Counsel, have you received all discovery? Did you review it with your client?
I did, Your Honor.
Court will find that the state is in compliance with discovery. Ms. Diano, did you review the document entitled Application for Community Supervision or Deferred Adjudication with your attorney? Did you understand it and sign it?
Yes,
Did you review the true bill of indictment with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes.
Counsel, do you waive the reading of the indictment?
I do.
State, are you proceeding on the indictment as presented?
No, Your Honor, state will be reducing this charge to a misdemeanor DUI, and we'll proceed with that charge.
Any objection?
No.
Deputy Laura, Deputy Mejia, can you move them to that other end? All right, we're back on the record. Ms. Diano, did you review the court admonishments with your attorney? Did you understand it and sign it in all the appropriate places?
yes,
Did you understand the state is proceeding on the lesser included offense of assault bodily injury as a Class A misdemeanor? Range of punishment is anywhere from up to a $4,000 fine and up to 1 year in the Bexar County Jail. If you have a plea bargain agreement with the state, the court does not have to follow your plea. If for any reason the court does not follow your plea and gives you more than you bargained for, the fact that you entered a plea will not be used against you and you will be allowed to withdraw your plea. Did you understand? Oh, you didn't understand that part?
so,
Well, so let me explain to you. And then if you don't understand, let me know. I'll help you and your attorney discuss it. So you're entering into a plea bargain agreement with the state. You understand that part? Whatever agreement that you have worked out with the state, I don't have to follow that agreement. So let's hypothetically say they want you to have probation. If I were to tell you, I'm not going to give you probation, I'm sending you to jail, then you can withdraw your plea
Okay.
because I have not followed your plea bargain agreement. Now, the conditions for the plea bargain agreement, that's something the court gets to decide. You understand? So if for some reason I don't follow your plea bargain agreement and I try to give you more than what you've bargained for, then you get to withdraw your plea and it can't be used against you if you decide to go to jury trial. You understand? And by that same token, if I don't follow your plea, then what can end up happening if you withdraw your plea, then the state can say, okay, we're going to have to go to jury trial. We're going to go to jury trial. And maybe they won't be going to jury trial on a Class A misdemeanor. They'll be going to trial on the injury to the elderly. Not maybe, that's what they'd have to do. You understand? All right, did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call in the right to remain silent? Did you understand by entering this plea, you were giving up those rights?
Yes.
And did you intend to give up those rights and enter into this plea bargain agreement?
Yes.
All right. Did you understand if the court were to grant your application for deferred adjudication, if for any reason you were to violate your conditions of probation, I could revoke you and sentence you up to 1 year in the Bear County Jail. Did you understand?
Yes.
Counsel, has your client been able to provide you with any defenses?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you believe she has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the charges against her?
I do, Your Honor.
Do you believe she's currently competent and was legally sane at the time of the offense?
Yes.
Ms. Diano, has anyone threatened you, coerced you, or placed you in fear to get you to enter this plea? Anyone promised you anything other than the plea? Are you satisfied with the way you've been represented?
Yes.
Are you a U.S. citizen? Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived her right to jury trial. Did you review the plea bargain page with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes.
According to the plea, the state is proceeding on the lesser included offense of assault, bodily injury. There's a $500 fine. The state is recommending deferred adjudication, and there's no contact with several people. And there's a Samantha with a question mark by it.
I to go off record real quick. Ms. Jones prepared this. I don't know why I did that.
Okay, they're apparently discussing some sensitive information, so the judge turned the mic off, but it will come on here in a few seconds or so, maybe a minute. And so, again, right now they're just kind of going over plea agreements and making sure that the defendant
Do you
understands.
understand
there we
that to
go.
be
We're
your
going
plea
back.
bargain agreement?
Yeah, but that lady actually has already assaulted me twice at my.
All right, so here's the thing. The only thing I'm looking at today is once I've gone over the admonishments for you and what your rights are, then what will end up happening is the state will present evidence and then I'll make a decision on whether or not that evidence is sufficient to find you guilty. If I find that the evidence is not sufficient to find you guilty, then I'm going to find you not guilty and say that the state can prove its case. However, if there's something else going on between you and this other person, that is not before this court today. That's something else. So what I've just read to you, did you understand that to be the plea? Defense?
Yes, Your Honor.
State?
That is a plea.
Did you review the waiver of appeal paragraph with your attorney? Did you understand it and sign it in both places? Did you understand by signing that you're waiving your right to appeal? The only items that can be appealed are written pretrial motions that have been filed, heard, and ruled upon by the court. Did you understand? Counsel, there been such motions?
No, Your Honor.
Outside the agreement, the state is requesting that your deferred adjudication be for a term of 6 months. There be 30 hours of community service restitution, TAP evaluation, follow recommendation, sober meetings, random UAs, and anger management. Did you understand that those were recommendations from the state and the court does not have to follow those recommendations? Then to the offense of assault bodily injury as a Class A misdemeanor, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
No.
State any evidence.
Your Honor, this has to say that let me take exhibit one, but I'll look at it.
Your Honor, defense has no objection.
All right, and state, have you spoken with the complainant?
Yes, we have.
All right, thank you. State, you may be excused.
Your Honor.
All right, did you review the waiver and stipulations with your attorney? Did you understand it and sign it?
Yes.
in all the appropriate places? Again, did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call, and the right to remain silent? Did you understand that today the state would be presenting evidence in the form of witnesses' statements and police reports? But most importantly, there will be no live testimony. Did you understand? Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Court will accept into evidence states exhibits 1 and attachments and review the same. All right, after reviewing states exhibits 1 and attachments, the court will find that there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty. The court will defer finding of guilt as you apply for deferred adjudication. Are we proceeding with sentencing?
We would like to, yeah.
All right, explain to me what's an end not? That's in the, yeah. All right, can I have a spot?
Okay, we're gonna get into it now. All right. Let me make sure my bad. Let me make sure I cue it up right. Okay. So as she's getting her stuff together, we're going to get into why Black Americans are and have been delineating the best thing.
After reviewing states exhibits 1 and
the best thing that's had happened in a long time. So especially seeing like after this election that happened and Trump became the president, Black people have foundational Black Americans, aka Black Americans, aka Black people, who are the descendants of slaves here in America, have started waking up. And there's about 50 million of us here, to 55 to 60 million at best, of Black Americans whose ancestry goes back to the killing fields of the plantations of America. And a lot of us have woken up and came to the conclusion, you know what? We've been looking out for everybody on this part of the world to other parts of the world. And every time we look out for other folks, we stand up for other folks' behalf. We speak up on behalf of other folks. Our entertainment people who are foundational Black Americans, a lot of our entertainers have ancestry that goes back to the killing fields of the slave plantations here in America. And a lot of us is saying, you know what? We had enough. Because there is no one reciprocating the same love that we give out to others. So we're going to just kick back, eat the popcorn, and watch y'all crash and burn. And that's what's happening now. You don't see a lot of people when they be doing these, showing this riot stuff going on in LA. I think Atlanta has something going on, and a few other cities. I think New York has some stuff going on. You're not going to see a lot of Black folks' faces on camera. You might see 1 or 2 popping up, and if they're Black American, you ought to be ashamed of yourselves at this point. Because you keep on stepping out for other people, and they keep showing you time and time and time again, and we keep showing you the receipts after receipts after receipts of how other folks show disrespect. And we're going to pull up some more videos and some other times. Y'all continue to check out the channel. We're going to pull up the receipts. All right. On our full clip series. So this will be part of the full clip as well. So I'm going to go ahead and let it play all the way through. Then I'm going to go put it back a little bit and we're going to talk. All right. So let's check it out.
Attachments, the court will find that there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty. The court will defer finding of guilt as you apply for deferred adjudication. Are we proceeding with sentencing?
We would like to.
All right. Explain to me what's an in knocked? That's in that's in the police report. The officer said suspect 1 stated that victim 1 had in knocked on her door.
And
I
they
think
knocked on their door trying to.
No, I'm asking.
she constantly.
No. What is an in knock?
Nigger knocking,
Yeah, what is that?
going and knocking on a door and running. and
But why
running
is it
away.
nigger knocking?
That's what. they
Why
call
isn't it
It's-
Caucasian knocking? Why isn't,
word,
no,
it's
no,
a
no.
word in the-
Why isn't it Caucasian knocking? Why isn't Asian knocking? Why isn't some other knocking? Why is it called
I
that?
don't know, that's just the way they say it. I
No,
mean,
that's the way you say it, because that's what you said.
That's what I'm just, that's basically, I mean, all right. I don't know what else to tell you.
No, I'm just trying to figure out why
It's
would
not
you
like a
call it
race,
that?
it wasn't to be racist. The kids just kept knocking and knocking on my door, constantly doing that to me. They live upstairs. I did not touch this kid, and I really don't even want to sit here and plead to say that I did.
Oh, you can go, we can have a jury trial.
I don't
but you-
want to do that because he says that's not the best thing to do.
No.
I just I lost a child. My son was 19 years old, was murdered just 2 years ago. I'm under a lot of stress already, so I'm just trying to get out of this and get it as easy as
Just what?
I'm just stressed out enough.
Mhm.
All right.
So do you want a jury trial?
No, I don't. I just want to get this over with, do the probation and whatever I have to do.
All right, so what was the race of,
You asked me that question. If you knew the
Yeah.
answer to the question.
what is the race of the complainant?
Hispanic.
Hispanic.
Everyone's Hispanic in the instance.
Mhm. And what do you, if I knew the answer, I don't know why you would say that. That's why I'm trying to figure out why you're saying it, because in the police report, they say you were intoxicated. So I'm trying to figure out,
Intoxicated.
that's what it says in the police report. It says suspect stated V had knocked on her door and she came outside to see who knocked. And
know
victim's
who-
family came down the stairs yelling at her, accused her of hitting the victim. Suspect kept saying she did not want to tell her side of the story and tried to walk away to go inside. I detained suspect to investigate further. And it says in here that there was signs of drinking.
I don't see a crime in drinking in your own home. I was in my
Yeah,
own.
I'm just
home.
trying to figure out what's going on because I have to set conditions for you. Is this an anger problem? Because they want you to do.
I'm sorry that you caught me off guard with the question that you asked me. I feel like you're kind of in a setup I felt kind of set up with that question. I understand it's not a word to be used, and I understand that I used it in the wrong word, in a wrong way, and I apologize for that. So I'm sorry.
There's more in here that you said. You're using profanity. I am trying to figure out, because it says suspect had a strong odor of intoxicants on her. I'm trying to figure out why the state is asking for anger management, because they're requesting that you do anger management. They're requesting that you have a TAP evaluation to see if you have a drug or alcohol problem. They're asking for sober support meetings. Sober support meetings are usually for people who have a drug or alcohol problem. I'm trying to figure out what's going on because you told me that the lady, Samantha, had, assaulted you or is still causing problems with you. So I'm trying to read the room and figure out what's going on, and I cannot.
I'm leaving this apartment, so I'm already have gone into a new place to live. I'm leaving on Sunday.
Okay, so let's go back and we'll play the rest of this here in a little bit. Again, it's not long. And let's address this. I really wanted to cut it off and say stuff, but I really wanted to go through first because some people will come in the comments as normal. Oh, it's taken out of context, knowing damn well it wasn't. And they'll say, well, the judge was this and judge was that. So I wanted the judge to say her thing so everybody can see. And then plus I was going to play it again, of course. And, so everybody can see what the context was, how it was being said, and you can see her response. All right. So let me play this again real quick.
The police report, the officer said,
Okay. Let me go back a little bit more here. This might be it right here. All right. So yeah, we're gonna get into it. Get right into it here.
All right, after reviewing state's exhibits 1 and attachments, the court will find that there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty. The court will defer finding of guilt as you apply for deferred adjudication. Are we proceeding with sentencing?
We would like to.
All right, explain to me what's an in knocked? That's in that's in the police report. The officer said.
Now look at him panicking. Look at her attorney, the one representing him. He's like, oh damn. He's gonna try his best to kind of glaze it over. And she's like, what? What's what? She knew what she said.
Suspect 1 stated that victim 1 had in knocked on her door.
And
I
they knocked on their door trying to.
No, I'm asking.
They what? Okay. All right.
Constantly.
No. What is an in knock?
Nigger knocking.
Yeah, what is that?
Now, she knew what an in knock was, and she said it herself what it was. Now look at the attorney looking at her. Body language says a lot. You know what I'm saying? That's why, in interviewing and interrogation, your body language is studied very heavily. Look at the attorney looking at her like, all right, he's like hoping that she say the right thing and don't say too much to mess herself up. And she's over there like, that's what they call it. But it came out of her mouth. And this is why when foundational Black Americans say, you know what? Whenever y'all get into some big old mess, don't come asking for our help no more. Because you say things about us and you claim we do this and do that to you. You disrespect us. You tell us how lazy we are. Right? See, but here we go again. We have receipts. This lady wanted to use nigger knocking when giving her explanation to whatever police officer took the report, and she's saying it in the courtroom. And what's so wild about that is she's used that term to her own people, Hispanic people that she had a beef with the reason why she got arrested. It's just like free flowing off the tongue. It's all cool to say that, right? And as you've seen when I let it play all the way through first, she said she knew that was the wrong thing to say. If you knew it was the wrong thing to say, then why say it? Unless you're going to just stand 10 toes down on what you said and don't care or whatever, that's another thing. And you use it against your own people at that. But it had to been something in your mind that you had to use that word. Very interesting.
Going and knocking on a door and running.
But why is it nigger knocking?
That's what.
Why isn't it Caucasian knocking? Why isn't Why isn't it Caucasian knocking? Why isn't Asian knocking? Why?
That's right, Judge. Break it down. What you say? What you say, Judge? Why isn't it what?
Why is it nigger knocking?
That's what.
Why isn't it Caucasian knocking? Why isn't Why isn't it Caucasian knocking? Why isn't Asian knocking? Why isn't some other knocking? Why is it called that?
No, that's just the way they say it.
No, that's the way you say it because that's what you said.
That's what they say.
That's because that's the way they say it. That's right, Judge. Why isn't it called Asian knocking? Why isn't it called Caucasian knocking? Why isn't it called Jamaican knocking? Why isn't it called Latino knocking? Why isn't it called Mexican knocking? Why isn't it called Hispanic knocking? Why isn't it called Irish knocking? Why isn't it called Jewish knocking? Why is it being called nigger knocking? Right? Tell him again, Judge. Ask her again. What you say, Judge? What you say, Judge? What's the question, Judge?
door and running.
But why is it nigger knocking?
That's what.
Why isn't it Caucasian knocking? Why isn't, no. Why isn't it Caucasian knocking? Why isn't Asian knocking? Why isn't some other knocking? Why is it called that?
No, that's just the way they say it.
No, that's the way you say it, because that's what you said.
That's what I'm just, that's basically, I mean, all right. I don't know what else to tell you.
No, I'm just trying to figure out why
It's
would
not
you
like a
call it
race,
that?
it wasn't to be racist. The kids just kept.
And you gonna believe that it wasn't to be racist? Her other Hispanic neighbors that she had a beef with, probably it was, she had a dealing, I guess, with one of the neighbor's sons, and probably was a dark-skinned Hispanic. But you wanted to use an offensive term that was offensive to black people. So in your mind, black people came to mind when you seen that young boy. Not really seeing or knowing what they look like, but she had to use that term for something. It was something in her psyche that decided to use a term that was offensive to black people. And here you have a black judge on the stand, on the in the judge box there, behind the counter. And she was curious too, like, why was it that? Why wasn't it Latino knocking? Why wasn't it wetback knocking? See how people can take offense to that, right? Why wasn't it chink knocking? Right? Again, like I said, why wasn't it Jewish knocking? Why wasn't it Hebrew knocking? Why wasn't it Palestinian knocking? Something in your mind had to feel like you had to use a term disrespectful to black people. You had to use that. And that's what they say. Do you have to say what they say? Do you really have to say because they said it? But that's her reasoning. Oh, that's what they say. So I'm going to say it too. My grown self, I'm going to say what they say. Because that's what they say. I'm going to call it too. And Judge, yeah, you got a point, Judge. That was a good question, Judge. Judge Boyd, that was a good question. What was that question again?
Is that?
Going and knocking on a door and running.
But why is it nigger knocking?
That's what.
Why isn't it Caucasian knocking? Why isn't, no. Why isn't it Caucasian knocking? Why isn't Asian knocking? Why isn't some other knocking? Why is it called that?
No, that's just the way they say it.
No, that's the way you say it, because that's what you said.
That's what I'm just, that's basically, I mean, all right. I don't know what else to tell you.
No, I'm just trying to figure out why would you call it that?
It wasn't to be racist. The kids just kept knocking and knocking on my door, constantly doing that to me. They live upstairs. I did not.
So if they was constantly knocking and knocking and knocking, why don't you just tell the police, hey, they was constantly knocking and knocking? Why did you feel that you had to tell the police that the police had, or maybe the neighbors were the one that said that she said that they said, he was nigger knocking. And then she can't explain, well, what is, she said, what's nigger knocking? Oh, it's just when you knock. No, you really wanted to say is when some black kids knock on your door. But see, you wanted to try to slide that, make sure you don't say that. And when you seen the look on her attorney's face when I showed you earlier, right? When I kept the picture still for a second and you seen that look on his face, because he was hoping like, please don't say that. Please don't explain what that really is and what that really means. Because he know what it means too. Right? But I wanted to show you this. I'm going to let it play the rest of it out here in a minute and just let you see what happened at the end. But this is another reason why we say, yeah, we cool. Y'all gonna feel how we've been feeling for years. Y'all gonna start feeling like how our ancestors had to go through stuff. And some of them are starting to see. When you see the police and you see the ICE out there, And we got videos to show on that. You know, that's another episode, man. We got so much documentation to show. You know, at first they seemed like they was being really a little bit more lenient than they are with black people. You know, the police and the ICE, and I don't think the soldiers got too much involved in too many things. They were just on standby, you know, standing out there. So I don't think hadn't seen any video where they was really having to get down too tough. But now some of the videos seen now, the police are getting a little fed up. So you're going to start your feeling where and experiencing what a lot of black people have been experiencing for years. And this thing about this history, I have this history, Hispanics and Mexicans and whoever, but can any of you say that you've been fire hosed down? Can you say that you had dogs just biting you at random for protesting something, for being peaceful? I haven't seen I haven't seen a video yet where they send any dogs out on any of the Hispanic or Latino protesters. I haven't seen that yet. I haven't seen any fire trucks where they took the water hoses and water hose anybody down yet. They're throwing out the flash grenades and the smoke bombs or the tear gas, which is kind of standard, I guess. In any of your Hispanic history, how many of y'all have been hung just for looking the way you look because other groups didn't like you? How many of your family members have been accused of a sexual type of situation that did not occur, but they was accused of it and end up being hung for it or some type of penalty, but it never happened, but you've only been accused of that? But I would say this, or I would probably ask you a question. Do you think that God, for those, I'm talking to black people, I'm talking to all ethnicities, because unfortunately, you know, maybe not a lot, but we do have our own coon class of people. So, you know, this question goes out to all of y'all, whatever ethnicity you might be. Do you think that God is going to let y'all slide, Hispanics, white folks, whatever ethnic group of white folks you might have been, Irish, Anglo, whatever, Hispanics, Mexicans, Puerto Ricans, Jamaicans, Erudians? You think God gonna let y'all get away with the disrespect you've been giving black Americans, even those in government, the Democrats in government, that you still won't stand up for black folks? You think God gonna allow y'all to get away with what y'all doing? And then let's go back. Do you think God is gonna okay and like, oh well, slavery happened, it's an unfortunate thing, the survivors of the ancestors that are living now, who are descendants of those slaves, you know, they're going through some stuff too. You think God really gonna allow y'all to get away with that and something don't change and something don't happen back as payback? Y'all really think that's gonna happen? You really think the disrespect y'all been showing us in present times and the horrific slavery system that went on, you really think God don't think God gonna make sure there's some get back? There's gonna be some get back on that. That's what I think is going down now. There's some get back, and there's gonna be some more get back, because Trump is also what he's doing is affecting white folks too. So there's a lot of white people that's starting to go like, wait a minute, This ain't supposed to be happening with us. So y'all got to get y'all get backs too, whether y'all believe it or not. But y'all seeing it. Y'all gonna get y'all getting y'all get back, and it ain't over yet. So for all y'all who think y'all can say, oh, the Africans who tell their kids, don't hang out with those Black Americans, they lazy, all they do is want to have sex, they don't do nothing. Y'all don't, we come here and we make something of ourselves, but y'all keep forgetting it was Black Americans who made it possible for y'all to live comfortable in America. And you have some people who have wised up. It's always a little bit of people from every group. It's never a large amount. So you have some African kids now, or African adults who might be second or third generation here. Some of them wised up and said, well, wait a minute. We see what's been going on with y'all. And we showing y'all mad respect. We ain't disrespecting. We gonna look out for y'all as much as possible. You have again, there's another video. There's so many video receipts. It's ridiculous. We can debunk everybody saying any lie y'all told or any gaslighting y'all do. We can pull up video after video after video. There's a video of some young adults. They're African girls, and then there's Black American boys. They got a podcast show, and the girls and the Black American FBA host is 3 of them. Y'all might know who I'm talking about. They mention all the little comments like, hey, don't go with Black Americans, don't date them, don't bring a Black American man home, or don't bring a Black American boyfriend home to our house. This is African females to Black American males. And then they asked the African females, yeah, what do y'all parents say? And they said, y'all pretty much said what they be telling us. They verify what their parents be saying about Black Americans, Black American males in particular. And so, again, I don't want to go too far off, but it's so much that could be said. We have the receipts, man. But like I said, you keep showing us disrespect. Don't think that God ain't gonna have the last laugh on that. Y'all gonna get your get back. And like I said, it's going down now. That includes white people too. Because a lot of white people, like I said before, are a little bit confused with Trump. Because Trump getting at everybody. He cleaning house on everybody. Everybody. And so Black America just kicking back, and people wondering, like, well, how can y'all stand back and sit up? Everything y'all gone through, we've already gone through. It's nothing to us. We can deal with all of that. We've been dealing with it for over 400 years. Passed through our DNA from our ancestors to us. It ain't nothing to deal with struggle. Now we watching y'all deal with it, and a lot of y'all can't handle it. But I'm gonna see how many of y'all gonna wise up and continue to disrespect Black Americans and then see the fallout from doing that. We're gonna see how many of y'all wise up and change your tune and change your tone and change your heart and show some respect to Black Americans who built this country. Or we're gonna see if y'all still gonna throw out the lazy comments and y'all ain't this, and how come y'all been here for so long and we're excelling farther than you. There's systems in place that do that. They're using y'all as well, and y'all can't even see it. But we know how they work. We know how they get down, and we've been telling y'all this. Now we not like, hey, we ain't gonna tell you nothing. Y'all finding out now. And one more thing before we get back to this video is what's been said before. How can you be out here causing problems and waving another flag from another country, but you want to live in the country that you having beef with? How can you wave a Mexican flag, but you call yourself, well, I'm fighting for my rights to be here? but we're so lazy and we're this and we're that. Maybe you need to go back to your country and make Mexican great again. Make Mexico great again. How about that? And any other ethnicities who have issues with Black Americans in America and what's going down in America. You don't like how we do this or do that. Well, go back to your country and make your country great again. We know that's not going to happen, but I'm just saying. And you're burning American flags. I remember Grace Wisher and another unknown foundational Black American who helped put that flag together. Two foundational Black American women who had a part in putting that American flag together. And when you burn it and spit on it, I'm thinking that you spitting on them two women, them two Black women who played a part in putting that flag together. That's who you disrespecting. Let's get back to the video.
Touch this kid, and I really don't even want to sit here and plead to say that I did.
Oh, you can go. We can have a jury trial.
I don't want to do that because he says that's not the best thing to do.
No.
I just lost. Look, I lost a child. My son was 19 years old, was murdered just 2 years ago. I'm under a lot of stress already, you know. So I'm just trying to get out of this and get it as easy as
Just what?
I'm just stressed out enough.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
So do you want a jury trial?
No, I don't. I just want to get this over with. Do the probation and whatever I have to do.
All right. So what was the race of?
You asked me that question. If you knew the answer to the question,
what is the race of the complainant?
And you see what she said, kind of in between the talking. If you knew the answer to the question, you see her, the defendant's body language and the gall to talk the way she talks, not respecting this Black woman judge. You see, this is the mindset and the attitude of a lot of the Hispanic immigrant population. Not all, of course, but there's a lot of them like that. A lot of them like that. And I'm still thinking about how can a bunch of Hispanics go through California, certain parts of California, and firebomb Black people out of their homes in present time, recent times. We ain't talking about during slavery. How can you do that? What's behind you going to somebody's residence and firebombing them? We just don't want these Black people here. But we made it to where you are able to be here and be comfortable here. No thank yous or nothing. We just firebomb y'all. Amazing.
I have to do.
All right. So what was the race of?
You asked me that question. If you knew the answer to the question,
what is the race of the complainant?
Hispanic.
Hispanic.
Everyone's Hispanic in the instance.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone is Hispanic in the situation that occurred, but you chose to call it nigger knocking. Not wetback knocking. Oh, he did a wetback knock. He did a Latino knock. No. I mean, then you're using that for them. Amazing.
And if I knew the answer, I don't know why you would say that. That's why I'm trying to figure out why you're saying it, because in the police.
Yeah, Judge. I don't know why she said it either. That's amazing. That's why I guess she asked, what was the race of the other people? Were they Black or what? And find out they're Hispanic. Well, I don't know why. Why would you say that then if they're Hispanic? Yeah, Judge. I feel you on that. I feel you, Judge Boyd.
If I knew the answer, I don't know why you would say that. That's why I'm trying to figure out why you're saying it, because in the police report, they say you were intoxicated. So I'm trying to figure out.
Intoxicated.
That's what it says in the police report. It says suspect stated V had knocked on her door and she came outside to see who knocked. And victim's family came down the stairs yelling at her, accused her of hitting the victim. Suspect kept saying she did not want to tell her side of the story and tried to walk away to go inside. I detained suspect to investigate further. And it says in here that there was signs of drinking.
I don't see a crime in drinking in your own home. I was in my own
I'm
home.
just trying to figure out what's going on because I have to set conditions for you. Is this an anger problem? Because they want you to.
I just, I'm sorry that you caught me off guard with the question that you asked me. I feel like you're kind of in a setup, I felt kind of set up with that question. I understand it's not a word to be used, and I understand that I used it in the wrong word, in a wrong way, and I apologize for that. So I'm sorry.
There's more in here that you said. You're using profanity. I am trying to figure out, because it says suspect had a strong odor of intoxicants on her. I'm trying to figure out why the state is asking for anger management, because they're requesting that you do anger management. They're requesting that you have a TAP evaluation to see if you have a drug or alcohol problem. They're asking for sober support meetings. Sober support meetings are usually for people who have a drug or alcohol problem. I'm trying to figure out what's going on because you told me that the lady, Samantha, had, assaulted you or is still causing problems with you. So I'm trying to read the room and figure out what's going on, and I cannot.
I'm leaving this apartment, so I'm already have gone into a new place to live. I'm leaving on Sunday because the lady kicked my dog the other day, and she got up in my face and stuck her finger in my face and started yelling at me. No, I don't have a drinking problem. Yes, I lost my child on February 5th, 2023. He was murdered by a best friend in a gas station in Austin, Texas. And I lost my fiance 11 days before that. He had a heart attack inside my home. I've been under a lot of stress and frustration. These people don't leave me alone from upstairs. It's a constant fight with this lady. So I'm moving myself away from that environment. I've already lost my job because of her, that I had a job with for 6 years, working from home. And I politely went upstairs and told her, look, I work from home. All they do is they run like a herd of elephants upstairs and basically just annoying people. And that's it. The kid just keeps knocking on my door. They would steal my decorations from my home. I've already complained. So now I'm taking myself out of the environment and just going somewhere else.
All right, state, you're requesting anger management and sober meetings? All right, and why are you requesting that?
Seems like that would be beneficial for the defendant to undergo.
Yeah, we're in agreement with the state. We would have to probate the fine, Your Honor. As you heard, the defendant has lost her job. She's having to have moving expenses. She's indigent and court appointed, Your Honors. At this time, we would ask to follow the plea and to waive the fine.
So you're fine with anger management and sober meetings?
Yes, Your
Okay. There's going to be a $500 fine probated, proof of employment within 30 days, no employment as a home health care provider or with minors. There's going to be 1 year deferred adjudication, 80 hours of community service restitution. I think she needs anger management. I'm going to order anger management. Once she's completed that, then 40 of the hours will be deemed satisfied. And then I'm going to order 60 sober meetings in 60 days. TAP evaluation, that can be out of custody. Follow recommendations. There's going to be field visits 1 time per month for 6 months. Regular reporting by Zoom or in person, regular random UAs. There's to be no contact with the following persons: Danny Ibarra, Samantha Coronado, and Brenda Espinoza. Probation, is there anything else she needs? Is there anything else you need from the court to be successful? Did you review the document entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal with your attorney? Did you understand it and did you sign it? Because it's a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waive your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Do you understand? All right, and Ms. Abrams, see if maybe a referral to Center for Healthcare Services, maybe they can help her with any type of trauma. All right. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for.
And the judge was nice enough to even provide some services for her experiencing trauma because of the death of her son and her fiance. After all of that. So there you go. Like I said, there is a reason why foundational Black Americans are like, you know what? We good. Now, again, like I said, that's not everyone across the board. Everything seems to be small when it comes to certain situations. There are small pockets of people, whether they're Hispanic, Latina, Jamaican, Trinidadian, any place in Africa, any place on the islands, that has mad love for foundational Black Americans, rock with them, understand their plight, understand what they went through in America, and still go through to this day, to this very day, because we just went through some stuff with Biden and Kamala. There's a guy who had an issue. He had went to jail and was accused of something he didn't do, and Kamala has some part in that. So we've been going through stuff even to recent years. And so there's some small pockets, always a small group. It's never a large group. So you do have some Puerto Ricans that rock with Black Americans straight up and down. You got other people from the Caribbean that rock with Black Americans, but they're small pockets. Some Africans, small pockets. Some Africans will say, yeah, that's right. Black Americans did this and did that, and we should be appreciated for what they done for us. If it wasn't for them, they wouldn't have came out with no laws to even allow us to be coming over to this country. But it was because of them. There are some small amounts of people who will admit to that and who will rock with Black Americans and who show the utmost respect. But the majority of y'all, whatever ethnic group you in, nah. There even some white people that will rock with Black Americans. They know what's up. They'll look out for them. But it's always a small group. It's not a bunch of people. Notice how that is? There's always just a small group. It's never big. Just like in government, there's only a small, very small amount of people who will actually rock with Black Americans. The majority of them, and some of them are even Black Americans, but a lot of them are other ethnicities, other Black-looking people. There's Jamaicans in the government. I'll never forget that. I don't know if she's still lieutenant governor or whatever now, but I forgot her name. Is it Winsong? She disrespected slavery, if I'm not mistaken, and talked highly about Jewish people, but disrespected slavery to the fullest. Then there was this one dude, I think he was an African dude, that said he would get rid of Black history, that was running for some position. You see how the mentality is? See how the disrespect? But yet, we made it possible for your Jamaican butt and your African butt to be over here. That's amazing, man. It's amazing. Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. I think I'm going to come back on another one and pull out some more receipts, so that when people start running their mouths, they can come to Thoughts of the Week podcast channel and say, well, let's look at this video. Why is this? Why is that? Well, we're going to provide the proof, the receipts. And not just me, there's others as well. There's a lot of other Black Americans that pulling out receipts. Shout out to Black Alpha Network. Shout out to Brother Phil with the African Diaspora News. Shout out to my news channel, What's the 411 News. Shout out to Professor Black Truth. Shout out to TBA. Shout out to Tariq Nasheed. Shout out to Sabby Sab. There's a whole host of others. Sorry, I can't remember you all. Shout out to Vicky Dillard. Shout out to what's her name? Queen Ahmadiyah. I think that's her name. Shout out to her too. There's ladies in this game too, Black American women that's out here pulling up the receipts as well. I don't have no beef with any of them. So, and even if it was some beef, you know, there's be some beef, but we'll handle it like foundational Black Americans, right? I'm just shouting out their work and what their contributions. There's plenty of others, man. Plenty of others, man. But all right, there you have it, man. I appreciate y'all for tapping in once again. Just some food for thought. The constant disrespect, like I said. Do you think God gonna let I think that God's really gonna let y'all slide on that? Y'all think that slavery for a lot of y'all who say, oh, why y'all keep bringing up this black stuff? There he go with this black stuff again. But no, because y'all keep bringing up black stuff too. And Latinos keep saying, why don't black people come and help us and protest with us? No. Y'all wasn't out there for that George Floyd like that. And when y'all was out there for that, it wasn't for no support of no George Floyd. Y'all didn't get at Zimmerman. Y'all didn't bring Zimmerman to the black conglomerate and say, here, we got him. What he did to Trayvon was messed up. We got him. Here you go. Y'all didn't bring him to anybody. Right? Breonna Taylor. What's her name? Tatiana, I think. Jefferson. Oscar Grant. Philando Castile, Alton Sterling, I think his name is. All these people shot up and killed for no reason. All of y'all Latinos and Africans and Caribbeans when all that happened. People that did nothing to nobody and got terminated. But yet we lazy and we don't do this. And how come we can make it better than y'all? Y'all been here for all y'all life and y'all can't progress and this and that. Okay. Do you think God is going to let you get away with it? That's all I'm going to tell you. That's my question. Or is the big payback starting to come? Are the chickens get ready to come home and roost? Or have they already came home? And like I said, when it comes to Trump, this time, he ain't giving a lot of white people breaks either. So y'all stand 10 toes down on that one. With that being said, you're rocking with the best and nothing less. Thoughts of the Week podcast. I'm out. Peace.